So it looks like the Real Housewives of Orange County is having one of their best seasons ever. I can only go by the last few seasons, but for me, it's been so good. And based off of the mid-season trailer, I'm like, wow, there is so much more to enjoy and watch. But I will say this was probably one of my favorite episodes so far this season, and it might be because I am a Traitors fan. Tamra, the plan was all over the place, but we already know it's very hard to do any sort of like party game like the Traitors because it's so intricate. But I enjoyed watching them trying to navigate this game and just be shady towards each other. We have a lot to unpack when it comes to the Real Housewives of Orange County. So before we even get into that, be sure to like the video, be sure to share the video, and don't forget you can hear an audio version of our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. Now, as we get into this, be sure to let me know where you're watching from, and be sure to let me know how you would rate this week's episode of the Real Housewives of Orange County.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Yesterday, we had quite a few different stories that came out. We did another video for those that may have missed it because I know the algorithm is not algorithming. So sometimes you have to go to the Kempire page to see some of what you may have missed for the day. And we did give you a third video on this Mr. Beast saga. And this particular video is probably even more shocking, but probably not so shocking if you've been following this story and the organization that he's been running for children, but with very questionable people behind the scenes. So be sure to check out that Mr. Beast video and let me know your thoughts. Yesterday, we also reported on Monique Samuel's ex, Chris Samuel, possibly dating Katie Roast? Maybe. We also reported on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Mauricio Umansky is being accused of filing for a fraudulent $3.5 million worth of PPP loans. He's being sued by Realtor LLC. So if you missed that, be sure to check out that video as well. We also had a Love and Marriage Huntsville video that we posted yesterday morning. Be sure to check that out. Melody is clapping back at Carlos. A lot of you had strong opinions about that, so be sure to check that out. All right. Real Housewives of Orange County. I am enjoying this season. I can't tell you. I didn't expect it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say every Thursday I'm excited to watch Real Housewives of Orange County. I'm not going to say I look forward to it. I don't, to be honest with you, because for me, it's become work. I have to watch it. Then I have to do a recap. However, I did enjoy the episode. And the other conflict of interest is that Big Brother is also airing the same night, and I'm already behind on my Big Brother episodes. But I'm prioritizing Orange County to make sure that you guys get your recaps. Just saying. Just letting you know. Okay. And I'm still watching Big Brother. I'm loving the season. Do not put any spoilers in the chat. Thank you. And I'm saying that for everyone else that's watching in the live chat. But Orange County, they first start off the episode, very brief scene with Tamra, Heather, and Emily talking about the Big Bear trip and talking about her Shannon's conversation with Tamra. And Tamra basically says, Alexis has these videos that can ruin Shannon. And they all agree they're not going to tell Shannon about these videos. We shall see how long that lasts, especially with someone like Tamra. Okay. So we get that little brief scene at the top of the episode. Then we go to the scene with Shannon she goes for the installation of this car that has the breathalyzer in it. And let me tell you something. I get it. First of all, Shannon says she needs to be able to drive. So it's either not drive for 6 months with a suspended license or get a car with the breathalyzer so that she's able to run her own errands and do things. Okay, fine. Sidebar, the paparazzi had photo of Shannon, blowing into her breathalyzer. I don't know why that was major news. We know that this is what she's doing. Literally, we're seeing her do it on this week's episode. And look, I think a lot of people think the audience, a lot of people coddle Shannon. What Shannon did was wrong. And I've said over the last few weeks that I'm not sure if Shannon really is taking accountability for herself or she's just doing it for television's sake. I have to say in this particular moment, I was like, all right, Shannon, I believe you're really taking accountability on some level. On some level, I feel like she's taking accountability, especially sharing this, because it's not easy to share this portion of, okay, this is what I did and these are the consequences. But the fact that Shannon, I feel like they're setting her up to fail. Like the particulars of this breathalyzer, he's like, if you don't do this first, it's a violation. If you don't do this, it's a violation. If you don't close this off, it's a violation. And then if you get a certain amount of violations, I think 3 violations, you have to go back to the place and have them reset it. And I'm not sure what the other consequences would be if you fail this situation. Do you go back to jail? So he's breaking it down to her, and there's also not even just the whole putting this into a certain thing before you turn on the car. You have to hum. Like there's a whole sort of hum. She's like, it can't be a ha. It has to be a I was like, well, you know what? Look, in all fairness, don't drink and drive and you won't have to deal with this. And that's why I say, I feel like it was terrible what happened with Shannon, and she could have hurt someone. But I feel after her sharing this journey, seeing things like this, things that are very humbling, is going to help other people. Because I told you, growing up, it used to be a big thing in schools. I don't know if they do it now in schools. Don't drink and drive. Like it was like a whole campaign. And say no to drugs. I feel like they don't do that anymore in schools. Do they? You guys let me know. You guys have kids in school. I have nieces and nephews, but I never hear them talking about don't, say no to drugs and no drinking and drive. Like I don't hear them saying it. Hopefully, look. But those campaigns were especially funded. Who knows with funding nowadays? They don't want to even fund like music and things like that. So you think they have funding for say no to drugs? Anyways, let me get off my soapbox. But I appreciate her, Shannon showing this process. But I was like, oh my gosh, the way that Shannon is all kooky and all over the place, I feel like she's going to violate that thing multiple times. Just saying. I just hope it doesn't mean that she's going to get locked up because it comes up as a violation. I mean, I feel like I would violate it. You know what I mean? Don't you feel like you would violate it? My goodness. And mind you, the breathalyzer sometimes will 5 minutes into driving say you got to breathalyze again. That is annoying. So you're in the middle of the road and you have to pull over and breathalyze? You got to hum. Really? But look, don't drink and drive, children. And when I say children, I mean grown adults. All right. Let me tell you something. Katie and Jenn, chef's kiss. They are perfect additions. I didn't think that they could get another really great addition after adding Jenn last season. First of all, I love the way Jenn, I get it. She's not perfect. She she grew up with a silver spoon, always was taken care of. I don't care. You could tell this woman has a heart of gold. When she's meeting with anyone, she always leads with compassion. Jenn, how in the hell were you friends with Tamra? I don't get it. You're like day and night, and she's night. She just leads with so much compassion, even in this conversation with Katie, because Katie's been through a very tumultuous divorce as well. She doesn't speak to her ex. They're having a real moment, a real bonding moment. And I'm sure what helps is that they're both sort of newbies into this situation. So they're sort of like gravitating towards each other. And I really do like Katie. Katie and Jenn are very different in a lot of ways. Like Katie's very like assertive and strong in a way. And Jenn is, I don't want to say that Jen's not strong. She's strong in her own way. But she's a little bit more like Bambi, like, you know, the like Bambi eyes kind of thing. Not like Raquel, but you get what I'm saying. Like she's a little bit more innocent. A little bit more naive in a way. So, Katie in this conversation with Jenn is updating her in regards to her stuff with Heather. She says that she did end up sending a text to Heather, but she didn't receive a response. And Katie's just like, I'm not going to kiss Heather's ass. Katie, I just wish that's what I hate for Katie this season is that this is the battle that she chose this season. And I get it completely. Yeah, I don't want you to kiss Heather's ass either. And I feel like Heather wants you to. And I feel like everyone on this group, including the audience, does that to Heather. Like, oh, we're going to bow down to Heather because she's the richest in the group. And she's I like Heather. I like her personality. I like her quirkiness. But at the same time, in their conversation later in the episode, her and Katie, just allow Katie to apologize. Because then later you're going to be like, oh, you never apologize. Just allow her to apologize. And I get it in her head. The apology's for you. It's not for me. But allow her to apologize. Allow her to speak, first of all. Don't cut her off. Because I didn't love that either. Anyways, we'll get back to that. But Katie says, I'm not kissing her ass. Anyway, so they end up talking about their divorces. So Jenn is like, Jenn's going through a divorce. So she asked Katie about like, how did it work out for you and the custody and things like that. And remember, one of Katie's kids still lives with her ex-husband. But Katie really gives us the backstory on her relationship. Literally, when she got married, her ex-brother-in-law says, good luck with that. And Katie even told her father, just like, I don't want to do this. And father's just like, you got a baby, you got you got to do this. So she stayed in this relationship way past, because she didn't want to get married. And it just ended up being really bad, between religion, between family obligation. And Katie's not the only person that has been in this situation. So if y'all are judging her, y'all need to stop. I don't think people are judging her. Her story sounds like a lot of people that have been in these types of situations. Luckily, she made it out of it in order to find new love and a new child and a new family. But her daughter, so like her story is so interesting. That's why I'm glad they picked her, because it's actually interesting to watch. We don't really care about what's going on with Gina or Emily. Emily, she shared a little bit of her story this episode, but we've heard that story before. We'll get back to Emily in a second, because I got to mention something. Anyways, so Katie didn't want to get married when she got married that first time. And we find out a little bit more. Her daughter, Kaylee, wants to change her last name to her stepdad's last name because she doesn't have a relationship with her biological father. And we find out a little bit more when we get that scene with Katie, that first of all, the biological father did not want one of the sons to go visit her sick mother. And Kaylee was just like, you're wrong for that. And ever since then, that was the last time that they ever spoke. Oof. All right. Emily is getting a spray tan. She sits down to have, first of all, Emily, you look great. She said the spray tan helps to show off all the work that she's been doing on her body. So she sits down with Shane. First of all, she's concerned about Shane. Like, I'm concerned about Shane's health, because I know Shane wants to make a joke about it, But the way that Emily describes it, it's like you really had a situation like you could like literally fall out right now and not be with your family. You have young children. Like I really hope that he's taking that more seriously now, especially with heart disease. Heart disease is a silent killer. You don't know it until all of a sudden you're laid out, and if you're lucky, you survive. So I'm concerned for her and for him in regards to that. And you could tell that she's like, and they have a lovely relationship. It might be, subsidized by his parents, but they have a lovely relationship. Okay. So we talked about, shout out to my girl Taria from What Else Is Going On podcast. I mentioned that last week in regards to, and then of course I had to Google the story, and it was a story that Shane admitted that his parents helped them during a time when they really couldn't help. And a lot of y'all, because we got into this whole conversation about lawyers and how much they make. And yes, not all lawyers make money, even if you went to Ivy League. However, people assume that because these two people are lawyers that they're making money. Please understand, as someone that has worked with thousands of attorneys that have told me, if I could do this again, I would not become an attorney. More so than not, people have said that to me. And I've worked with all levels of attorneys, from partners at billion-dollar firms to temp attorneys. So I know how much can be made. I know how much cannot be made. But just because someone's an attorney doesn't mean that they're loaded. Yes, well-educated. And I don't blame Shane's family for having it and supporting their child and his family, but it's just rich of Emily to come at Jenn for it and just to be so mean about it. So they talk about everyone calling her mean when they were in La Quinta, and then she was just like, well, if this happened after the Jenn situation, I would understand. And this is where she explains why she's been reacting the way she's been reacting to Jenn this season. And it's because Jenn supposedly reminds her of her mother. And her mother never takes accountability. And that's how she feels with Jenn. And that's real. I can appreciate her sharing that. However, you are grown, Emily. Go speak to your therapist about it. The way that because my thing is, here's the thing. I understand being triggered by someone and maybe talking out of turn and making a mistake. That's fine. But the way that it wasn't just like that moment. There were multiple moments that we've seen throughout the season so far where you've been just coming at Jenn. And you just don't know how that's going to make her feel, or the stress and anxiety that you're putting on her, that you just added to her as she's going through a divorce and she has children and she has a lot of other things going on. So because you're triggered, you're going to flip out on her. So she explains to Shane, she gets very emotional. She's just like, she triggers me. It just reminds me of my mom. And she talks about how she grew up. She said, I didn't grow up with, a lot of money. I didn't grow up with, people taking care of me and that kind of thing. Yeah, but then you grew up and then you had someone take care of you for a hot minute. I kid, but I don't kid. So we had a clip of me talking about this that I posted on Instagram. Guess who liked it? Jenn. Jenn, just get ready for the reunion. Even though I think her and Emily are in a good place, just have it for the reunion. Just have it for the reunion, just in case you need it. I don't think you'll need it, because I'm glad that they resolved it before the reunion. I just don't think that they're lucky that Jenn is a good-hearted, decent human being. Because if she was petty like some of these housewives, this could be her entire storyline for the rest of the season. All right. Tamra goes out driving with her daughter. So we have these two separate scenes with Katie and Kaylee, her daughter, and they're both driving. Kaylee's going to go change her name, and she says she's getting nervous about it, and because she doesn't have a relationship with her father, but she does have this relationship with her stepdad. Okay. And that's when we find out about what the father did in regards to her other son not going to see her mom when her mom was sick. I think sick and dying, right? Her mom died. If I got that wrong, I apologize. But sick. And So Kaylee's working on changing her last name. Katie's like, I really want you to meet Sophia, Tamara's daughter, because they're of the same age and they're kind of going through the same thing. So Tamara is driving with her daughter, and Tamara does seem like such a different person when she's around Sophia. You remember she's not speaking to her other kid, Sydney, and we find out that Sophia is also not speaking to her dad. So Sophia and Sydney are not speaking to the dad, apparently, or at least two kids are not speaking to the dad. And Tamara says it's because of the divorce. Tamara's saying all of this in between being so nervous that Sophia's driving. She's like, pay attention. Oh my God. Ah! All right. But that is Tamara's heartache in regards to her kids. I can't even imagine, because she does have young kids. Like, these kids, yes, they're over 18, but they're still fairly young. They still need a parent, still need a parent's guidance. And then when they get married, like, what's going to, you know what I mean? I feel for her. You could say, we could say a lot about Tamara, but I do think that there's a soft place in her heart, right? Somewhere. All right, let's talk about this Traitors event. But before we do that, guys, speaking of traitors, don't be a traitor and get yourself some Rose Forever. I don't know. I couldn't think of a segue. Anyways, our friends over at Rose Forever are a proud sponsor here on the channel. You know, we bring them all around all the time, but that's because I truly utilize them. I have roses on my island. I have my roses in the living room. I have roses here in the studio, and I might get some more. It's about to be fall, but it's still pretty much summer wherever you are. It doesn't matter, because roses are just perfect all year round. But Rose Forever have roses that will last you at least a year. So, and like I said before, it's actually more, but for legal reasons, for at least a year. They have all kinds of candles now. They have hydrangeas, but they have a whole assortment of roses: red roses, blue roses, pink roses, all kinds of roses with wonderful smell as well. Head on over to the description for our referral link so you can get a fantastic discount. And yes, they ship worldwide. Worldwide shipping. Head on over to the description for more details on Rose Forever. All right, guys, have you liked the video yet? Have you shared the video? Have you subscribed? I know some of you have been just like, I like watching the recap. I don't need to subscribe. Double check to see if you're still subscribed as well. That is a thing here on YouTube. All right. This Traitors event, hosted by Teddy. So look, I'm not going to lie, because you know I'm a straight shooter. If something's funny, I'm going to say it. I don't care if I like you, I don't like you. I don't know her not to like her, but she is annoying. But when Teddy came in, she says, hello, Housewives and Vicky. I was like, oh God. I know some people will be like, oh, it wasn't funny because you just don't like Teddy. It was funny, but what's even funnier was Vicky's reaction. First of all, on the way to this Traitors event, Shannon's trying to have a heartfelt conversation with Vicky, and Vicky is just in her phone, sending text messages. She's busy doing work. I don't think Vicky needs to come back full-time. I'm sure she would like to come back full-time. I like her in this capacity. I like seeing her around because she's just so all over the place. Like, she's just kooky. Her and Shannon, kooky. But she's kooky in a different way. Sidebar. On on Vicky's podcast, she talked about her near-death experience recently, because she got really sick and she could have died, on her new podcast with Christian Grace Snow. So she opened up a little bit about that this week. So that's been making all of the headlines this week. Oh gosh, I can't believe I've been already in this podcast but this recap, and I haven't even talked about Alexis and John Jansen are engaged. They just had to make the announcement the day before the new episode was coming out, and an episode that she's not even on. Look. It's so thirsty. It really is so thirsty. Like, and I said before, when Alexis is not talking about John Jansen, or she's not talking about Shannon and in this DUI situation, she's actually not that bad. She actually could be a little likable. But John Jansen, come on now. I just don't see it working out for you. Especially when someone said, I forgot who said it, someone on the comment section was just like, that engagement ring looks like it's worth $75,000. We were just saying this in another story. I forgot what story it was. Oh, it was the Mr. Beast story. But I've said this before in multiple other stories recently. Pay attention when you're looking for a partner. Pay attention to how they treat other people. Pay attention to how they treat people that they don't know. Pay attention how they treat exes. Because they could paint whatever picture, but pay attention to those things. Alexis, pay attention. Back to the Nat. I love Vicky's. Look, my elephant brain's working because I came all the way right back to the Traitors party. So the Nat has that comment. Hello, Housewives and Vicky. It was funny to me. But Vicky's response, first of all, Heather had her back. Heather was just like, that was rude. And she's like, that effing. Her reaction is just so comical to me. Anyone else could probably have said it and it wouldn't have landed as funny. But the fact that Vicky said it the way that she like this is the way she speaks. It was funny to me. Anyways, so we have a couple of side conversations before we get to the game. The Traitors game, at first at the beginning, I was like, this might be cool. When they all rolled up in SUVs, they all had some tartan on. I was like, okay. I was like, I kind of like what I'm getting. The execution of the game wasn't great, but I wouldn't mind if they did it again next year. Right? I was like, okay, but we'll tighten up the game a little bit though. So anyways, so Katie and Heather have a side conversation and Katie apologizes. Heather says, I'm going to have this charity event and I want us to start anew. I want us to start fresh and I want to invite you. And I also don't want to exclude anyone. But Katie then tries to apologize after she gets invited and Heather just keeps cutting her off. And Katie and her composure just like, can I just finish a sentence? And to be honest with you, Heather, would it have hurt you to allow her to just to apologize? And I think this would have been deaded. I just hate that Katie came in with this and you fell for the okie doke. And now Gina wants to make it seem like you're a liar and that you're not to be trusted. I'm like, Gina, sit down. Mind your business. Mind your business. Yeah, remember that? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Anyways. You gotta be of a certain age. Oh, Lord. Coldest, guys. Keep your water cold for 36 plus hours. They have sheets. They have pillows. They have things for your pets. Head on over to coldest.com, but don't forget to use the discount code Kempire 50. Nope. Kempire 10 for 10% off. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Anyway, so they had that conversation. They seem to be okay after it. But Kate's just like, she's just not allowing it. And honestly, I have to say, Heather, you turned me off after that conversation. I was just like, just allow her to apologize. Allow her to apologize. And I know what you're going to say. It's for them. It's not for me. Okay, fine. It's for us too. We just want to move forward. Like, I hate the fact that there is any sort of beef between you and Katie because it doesn't need to be. Does this mean that they can't move forward next season? No. I just hate that this is their beef. You know what I mean? It would be different if Katie just came in and was just like, why is everyone sucking up to Heather? Like, that would be different. But this whole paparazzi thing, I'm like, who cares at this point? I don't want to talk about it anymore. Anyways, Emily and Jenn have their own conversation as well. Of course, all these other activities are happening. The Trace Amigas are having their own conversation. But I have to say, this Emily conversation, I'm glad Emily owned up to it and apologized and explained how she grew up. And Jenn was just like, I just feel like you look at me differently because of bank accounts. And she's like, no, that's not even it. That's not who I am. Jenn then admits that she's like, you're someone that I admire. So a lot of this has really hurt. I can see why she would admire Emily. Because I like Emily. Outside of this whole situation with Jenn this season, I normally like Emily. She, to me, is like the fun. And I appreciate her vulnerability last season about her family stuff. And she's talking about it this season. I hate the fact that she's using, like, Jen triggers her. And not to say that Jen wouldn't trigger her. And she probably didn't realize it because of her mommy issues. But I'm glad that she apologized. And you see how easily forgiving Jen is. And of course, Emily feels so bad. She's like, and she tells me that she admires me. She's kicking herself even more, as you should. As you should. Anyways, the Trace Amigas have their own side conversation. I don't know how we had this beautiful conversation, and fast forward to today, they're not in a good place. The Trace Amigas are over. I don't know. So they have a whole conversation about, they rehash all the issues between Tamra and Shannon and Alexis. And again, Tamra does not want to bring up the video part of it, but she does bring up that John wants Shannon to clear his name. Shannon mentions that, well, my lawyers reached out to him with a settlement agreement, and he doesn't want to settle. He wants every last cent of $75,000. And she says she's not clearing his name because she's like, I'm not going to lie. Honestly, I believe Shannon. And maybe she's just very convincing, but I believe Shannon. John Jansen has not proved to us that he is this decent guy. He has not. Because even after he saw what Shannon said about him last season, they were still hanging out. That was the night that she had got the DUI, she was with him. So he heard and saw those things. So he was probably just hitching his wagon to Shannon for as long as he could for whatever reason. If it was money, the lifestyle, or the, attention. I don't know. But I don't trust John Jansen at all. And Alexis, I wonder if this relationship would even last if you weren't on the show. Just saying. But apparently during the mid-season trailer, we do see that John Jansen makes an appearance. Sidebar. First of all, I saw another confessional of Jenn that she posted. Beautiful. And then I saw Shannon also posted another new confessional look. Gorgeous. I saw that Gina posted a fake confessional look where she had like bangs. And I don't know if that's what... I see things on Twitter. I don't go to the Instagram to confirm that this is what happened. So she has a new confessional look. Because that other one is just so distracting. I don't know if they tried to fix her confessional look in this particular episode. It just felt different. Or maybe just after hours of being there, their hair just lost its poof. I mean, didn't help the look. Or maybe it did help the look a little bit. Maybe. Anyway, so the Trace Amigas have their side conversation, and they go back to the group. Mind you, it's pouring rain. This event is a washout, but it's almost like perfect, because how often does it rain in the OC? I'm not from the OC. I don't know anything about the OC. I just feel like it's always sunny and sunshine in California mostly. And the fact that, in Scotland, you'll get rain like this. I was like, this is like perfect. We couldn't even planned it any better. Anyways, so they are back to being the Trace Amigas. They even do a little Trace Amigas dance. So they seem to be in a good place. And Vicky's just like, I just want us to be good. And I know some people might say it's a money grab. Like I can see Shannon needing the money. Maybe Tamra needs the money with the fitness places closed. But Shannon, Tamra, not Tamra. Oh my gosh, Vicky doesn't need the money, or maybe she just loves the money. That new lawsuit. Shut up. Shut up. Anyways, moving on. So they play the game, the Traitors game. We can rehash and talk about all of the different points. I thought it was a cute game. I thought it was fun. It was nice to see them interact. I really like to see this friendship that Jenn and Shannon are having. Did you guys guess who was the traitor from the beginning? I really wasn't even paying attention like that. I was just enjoying the scenes. They kept on saying that they thought Jenn was the traitor. I didn't really think of who could be the traitor. I don't know. If anything, it just maybe can't wait for the new season of The Traitors. Oh, when is that coming? We need 2 seasons of the US version a year, please and thank you. They already filmed it. We could get another one this year. Where is it, Peacock? Stop playing with me. I thought this was a cute episode. What else happened that I wanted to pay attention to or at least mention? Oh, first of all, Gina was having a side conversation with Heather in regards to the video footage that Alexis is talking about. And she's like, I feel like I should say something to Shannon. But at the same time, if I feel like if I say something, it's going to really, be hurtful to Shannon. I get it. And then also you have to think a lot of times what they're talking about, it's not just the fact that they want to mention this to the housewife as their friend. It's like, well, it's being talked about on the show. I'd like to give her a heads up. So there's also that element. There's also that element. I thought it was a good episode. I thought it was, then we get the mid-season trailer, and then I was just like, oh, chef's kiss. This is such a good season. This is their best season. After these last 2 or 3 seasons that have been kind of they were trying to figure out their way. Last season was good. This is a good season of Real Housewives of Orange County. And this is coming from someone that's not a huge fan of the show. This is the only city that I have not watched chapter and verse like the other cities. I have watched every single other one. This is the one I did not come in on. But this is good. I know you all say go watch it, but if I get time, like there never seems to be a moment of television where I can take, I was like, oh, I can catch up. Okay, I'm lying because literally I am like, why am I whispering? Literally, I've been watching the last season of Power on Stars. I didn't realize I didn't watch it. Maybe because I knew the spoilers, but they deserved Emmys. They never won an Emmy, but this last season of Power, I'm not giving the credit to 50 Cent. Okay, 50 Cent, fine. But Courtney Kemp, chef's kiss, how they ended this season. I'm still not quite done, but it was so good. It was so good. I don't know how Power Book and the other ones are, but this, so good. They did a damn thing with this. They definitely did the damn thing with this final season. Anyways, first of all, thank you to those of you that sent in Super Chats, Venmos, Cash Apps. Don't forget, I'm on Cameo. I always forget to mention this to you guys, but somehow some of you always find it in the description. But I think I should tell you. So if you just want a message from me, I'm cheap on Cameo. I'm not one of these, housewives with the hundreds of dollars. No, I'm cheap. So if you want just like a quick shady message, or you just want a message, or you just want to connect one-on-one, there are all really kind of cool things that you can do on Cameo by requesting me. Head on over to the description for more details on how you can request me for Cameo. I actually like doing them because they're fun. Because it really does feel like this quick little interaction between us and the community. More information on everything Kempire, ways you can support the channel, everything will be available, and including our friends over at Rose Forever will be available in the description. Head on over there for that. Thank you to our King's Guards for holding us down. Shout out to our new King's Guards. Please be sure to welcome some of our new King's Guards as well. Shout out to Mama Ali. She's not feeling well, she'll be laying low for a little bit, but she'll be back. Don't worry. And shout out to our channel members. Become a member today at TeamKempire.com/join. All kinds of really cool perks of becoming a member. We will be doing a members only live chat at some point coming up. Labor Day is right around the corner, so I hope you guys have some fantastic plans. Can't believe it's Friday already. The summer is flying by. I didn't even realize that it was Labor Day this weekend. Someone mentioned it. When was it? Thursday? Someone mentioned, oh, it's Labor Day weekend. It's like, it's Labor Day? Okay, I have no plans. I don't need to have plans. I just moved. I need to get settled. Not that I usually do anything for Labor Day anyway, but I remember growing up though, my siblings would always go to the Labor Day parade, the West Indian Day parade. They would always go. I've never gone. I know. Take my West Indian card. I don't like crowds like that, especially now. I mean, I didn't love crowds back then. I definitely don't love crowds now. But I heard the food's good. Look, love a good food. Love a good plate. Maybe I'll go this time. Nope. Especially if it's hot. Ugh. Like we had this little bit, like I'm taking such a we're going on with left field right now. It was so like it started to cool off last week. I was going for walks. I was like, this is cool. And then all of a sudden it got hot on Wednesday. And then it cooled off a little bit on Thursday. Today, the weather is a little weird here in New York City, but it's fine. This is that time of the year. I don't want to rush the winter either. Okay. Not trying to, like I love just throwing on shorts and a t-shirt and going. Now I have to really put on layers. Lord. Anyways, I've taken a full who knows what. I don't know. The words are things and I don't have them for you today. Happy Friday, guys. I appreciate you guys being here for our Real Housewives of Orange County recap. Happy Virgo season. I didn't forget about you Virgos. Happy Virgo season. Happy birthday to anyone celebrating a birthday today. Again, shout out to all of you for being here. Shout out to our subscribers as well. Shout out to our community, our growing community. And of course, be sure to check out anything you missed this week and subscribe to the Kempire podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating because rating does matter. Very much like how we ask you to like the video. And I know at this point, you probably don't even hear when I say it, but I want you to take a moment to hear me out. Liking the video opens you up to other people that are similar. This is how some of you found me. Most of you, this is how you found me, is from liking something else here on the platform. The same goes for when you go to support the podcast. The podcast, we try to mix it up for you. You're not getting exactly the same content there, but some of you have asked to get our live recaps there so you can listen to us in the car, on the go. And it's easier and free by doing that on the podcast. So subscribe to the Kempire podcast today. While you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. On that note, I am all talked out. I will see you all in the next recap video, whatever it may be. Go check out and catch up on some of the things that you may have missed. Shout out to those of you that are going back to school. Shout out to those of you that are going back to work. Shout out to our teachers. We appreciate you guys so much. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.